top, they'll be arriving at the bottom. Very much like an old-fashioned clothesline going back and forth, or like a seesaw or teeter-totter, one car up, the other car down. Now, we are not like a gondola system. We don't have many cars that go round and round. We just have the 2 cars going back and forth. Now, with that, we're a little bit more energy efficient, because when we stop, our motors stop. Whereas on a gondola system, their cable is constantly moving, constantly using electricity. So the very first thing we can see, if you look to the right of the back window, you'll see the town of Jasper coming into view. It is in the valley floor. Its elevation is about 1,100 meters. Permanent population in Jasper is about 5,000 people. Now, on a typical summer day, that would rise up to about 20,000 to 30,000 people in the immediate area. Now, last year and this year, because of COVID restrictions, we're hitting about half that, about 10 to 15,000 people in the area. Now, Jasper also has what's known as a ghost population. It can be as much as 1,500 people. And it makes up the seasonal workers that you'll see at a variety of places around town. That's why you'll hear a variety of different accents, including at this facility here. Now, when we left our lower terminal, we were at an elevation of about 1,300 meters, which is about 200 meters above the valley floor. When we arrive at the top, we'll be at about 2,300 meters, which is about 200 meters below the summit. That's a 1 kilometer or 1,000 meter vertical lift. The track that we're following is about 2.2 kilometers, and our traveling time up the mountain from the bottom to the top is about 7.5 minutes. Now, if you've been in Jasper for a couple of days, you may have noticed there's lots of trains that come through town. Jasper is on the main line for the Canadian National Railroad. We can have a train coming through town as often as every 15 minutes. Also, these days they're so long they don't fit the yard. The yard is about 1.5 kilometers in length. The trains coming through town can be as much as 3.5 kilometers in length. They also wait, that's why you'll see them waiting at either end. They're waiting for the all clear to go through town and head on their way. So we are going to come up to and pass around our single support tower. It's about 2/5 of the way up the mountain. It's 20 meters tall. As you can see, we are coming up on it at quite a steep angle. We're going to go off the other side at a more shallow angle. We are on a pivot above us. What's going to happen is the car is going to sway from front to back a little bit, folks. It's kind of like being on a big swing, but do prepare yourself for it. Watch so you don't lose your balance. Here we go. There's the push. And that's the release. And that's about as close as we get to a roller coaster, folks. So now if you look off to my immediate left, you'll see the other set of cables. If you can follow them up the mountain, and behind me you'll now see our other car coming down. We will pass it at exactly halfway. Now our traveling speed today is 6.5 meters per second. That's about 23 kilometers an hour. So when we pass it, it's like passing a car on the highway. It's going to double the speed. So we're going to pass it at a relative speed of about 46 kilometers an hour. It does go by quite quickly, folks. I'd like to give them a little wave as they go by. There we go. So today is a really nice day, folks. We haven't had some nice days because of the haze, the smoke, because of the fire. So I'm going to give you a panoramic view of the mountain. So I'm going to start off to the far left, work my way around the back of the car all the way back to this mountain. So to the far left, cutting off the valley, about 20 kilometers from here, is the Yellowhead Mountain Range. It's part of the Alberta-BC border. It's also part of the Continental Divide. That means that all the waters to the west of it will flow to the Pacific Ocean. All the waters to the east of it will flow either to the Atlantic or the Arctic Ocean. It is part of the spine that goes up and down North America, from Alaska all the way down into Mexico. Also on the other side of that particular mountain range is where the mighty Fraser starts. Starts as a very small stream, works its way through British Columbia, ends up in Vancouver as the mighty Fraser. Now from that mountain range, almost directly behind us, is the Victoria Cross mountain range. A lot of the peaks in that mountain range are named after recipients of the Victoria Cross Medal, except notably the last mountain in the range, almost directly out the back window, aptly named Pyramid Mountain. Now the Victoria Cross Medal is the highest military medal that you can get in the British Commonwealth. Now behind the town of Jasper, behind there, the Grayish Mountain Range is the Collin Mountain Range. To the far right is the Moline Mountain Range. The first sloping mountain is Signal Mountain. The first bold-faced mountain is Mount Takara. The mountain range that we are in is the Trident Mountain Range, and this is the Whistlers with an S. And on this mountain, S does not mean skiing, folks. There is no skiing on this mountain. As you can see, the outer shell is made up of very loose rock. We call that rock scree. Scree means no ski, folks. You don't ski on scree. Now we're soon going to come up to and pass above the tree line. Now the tree line in this area and on this mountain is about 2,100 meters, and about a third of Jasper National Park is actually above the tree line. You'll notice that the last few trees have become quite small, quite sparse. The average growing season up here is about 60 to 90 days. The little trees grow about 1 millimeter per year. Those trees are over 200 years old. So above the tree line, this is an alpine tundra, similar to what you see in parts of the north or the Arctic. Vegetation up here is mostly mosses. There's lichen. Now lichen is all this black and green, sometimes orange and yellow algae that's attached itself to the rocks. And we do have wildflowers. Again, because of the very short growing season, it can take as much as 50 years for a flower to bloom up here. So folks, do remember you are in a national park. It is illegal to remove any of the natural features up here. As they say, take only photographs, leave only footprints. Now we do have a bit of a treat today too, folks. Again, a look off to the west or to the left, you'll see a mountain that looks like someone's taking a big bite out of it. Just a little bit farther to the left, you'll see a mountain that looks like a pyramid, almost completely snow-capped. That's Mount Robson. Mount Robson is the highest point in the Canadian Rockies at 3,951 meters. It's not very often that we see it, about 10% of the year or less than 30 days in our traveling season. The mountain range in front of it is 20 kilometers away. It's 75 kilometers away, almost 4 times the distance. Also, to give you a little bit of perspective, look at Pyramid Mountain across the way, add the distance that we've gone up on this tram from bottom to the top, that's how tall Mount Robson is. So we are slowing to come into our upper terminal. In the upper terminal itself, there are washrooms and a gift shop on the main floor. The second floor has our coffee shop. They do sell Starbucks products. Now there are decks on both sides. There are placards on the decks that will explain a little bit more about the area. Car 2's side will show you exactly where Mount Robson is. There's a bit of a boardwalk around the back. Now when you go off the boardwalk, you are off our property. So do be careful back there, folks. You're back completely in Parks Canada land. Your safety and your security is your responsibility and the responsibility of Parks Canada, so do be careful you go back there. Again, folks, if you haven't made a flight to go down, just talk to Daniel there in the center. He'll help you. And do try to be back about 8 to 10 minutes before your flight. You don't want to miss it and have to wait for a bit of time, folks, so do try to be back. And Owen's going to let you out here in a moment. We're just waiting for a buzzer to let us know we're completely docked. There we go. So just watch yourself along the door. And do make sure you take water if you're going back on the mountain, folks. Hello?
Have a great time, guys. Thanks for coming up. Welcome to Starbucks.
Number one here.
Thank you.
You bet you're welcome.
What are those trees all?
Natural resources westward. Grain,
Jesus.
coal, oil, wood products. Eastward, it's all finished products. How far north? To Edmonton, and then they go north from Edmonton. They go far east to Eastern Canada because sometimes
It's a little bit of vertigo here.
They come from Vancouver
My God.
or Prince Rupert.
Is this the same line that goes down to the dam? Because we were in Lake Louise,
No, that's the CP rail.
that's a different line.
That's a different line. Now CP rail. This
Beautiful.
is Canadian National.